Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. We'll chant Om once together. Synchronize the chanting of Om with your exhalation. Breathe in. Sahana vavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu mavit vishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Gently open your eyes. We'll chant from verses 6 to 10 of chapter 3. Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Karmendriyani sanyamya,
Ya aste manasa smaran,
Ya aste manasa smaran,
Indriyartan vimudhatma,
Indriyartan vimudhatma,
Mithyachara sa uchyate,
Mithyachara sa uchyate,
Yastvindriyani manasa,
Yastvindriyani manasa,
Niyamyarabhaterjuna,
Niyamyarabhaterjuna,
Karmendriyai karmayogam,
Karmendriyai karmayogam,
Asakta savishishyate,
Asakta savishishyate,
Niyatam kuru karmatvam,
Niyatam kuru karmatvam,
Karmajyayo hyakarmanaha,
Karmajayo hyakarmanaha,
Sharirayatra pichate,
Sharirayatra pichate,
Na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
Na prasidhyeda karmanaha,
Yajñarthat karmanonyatra,
Yajñartat karmanonyatra,
Lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
Lokoyam karma bandhanaha,
Tadartham karma kaunteya,
Tadartham karma kaunteya,
Mukta sangha samachara,
Mukta sangha samachara,
Saha yajña praja srishtva,
Saha yajña praja srishtva,
Purovacha Prajapatihi
पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः
Anena prasavishyadvam
अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वम्
Yeshavostvishta
येषवोऽस्विष्टकामधुक्
Hari Om, and a very good day to all of you. So in the last few sessions, we have been seeing this powerful principle of niyama, commonly translated as restraint or discipline. But in the last few weeks, when we have been using the yogic approach and going deep into this principle, you would have started understanding this in a much more deeper way. See, it is generally easy to talk about something in a superficial way. Like people who have no depth, they go through life itself in a very shallow, superficial way. For them, there is nothing beyond their senses. Whatever they see, hear, feel, all these things, that's all. There is nothing more than that. If you have that kind of an approach, then you will not be able to evolve spiritually, and you will not be able to reach or fulfill the purpose of your life. All your faculties will remain dormant. It is only when you begin to develop this depth in perception, your inner powers start manifesting. See, it's very interesting. If you take gold, for example, now they go through a lot of process. They dig and dig and dig. Finally, they find a stone in which a little bit of gold may be there. Then they take it out, process it, and that is the gold which you get in the shops. If a person does not want to dig deep, he will not be able to get gold. It is the same thing with respect to life. It is the same thing with respect to spirituality also. If you are unwilling to go deep, you will not get the full benefits. The mind has this habit of getting distracted and getting caught up with the superficialities of life. See, there is nothing wrong in experiencing and enjoying everything, but if your mind gets stuck there, then that will not allow you to explore the infinite possibilities, the infinite powers which are there within you. Unless and until you explore what is there within you, your personality is like a gold mine. So you will have to dig deep, deep within you. A lot of effort is required. A guru creates various sadhana materials, gives various instructions. All that is aimed towards helping you to dig deep and find the gold within you. But if you are unwilling to do that, you may be in touch with a guru. You may be doing the sadhana also, but you will do everything in a superficial way. Your very aim of doing the sadhana will be just to remove that particular obstacle which you're facing, or a particular issue may be there. So I want a solution for that. Therefore, I'll do sadhana. Now, this is a very, very superficial approach. Like sometimes I get mails, some people ask, I have this health issue, I have, let us say, diabetes, or I have the skin problem or something. So if I do sadhana, will this problem go away? Now it's very difficult to answer that question, because if you do sadhana, yes, that is bound to increase your self-healing powers, and so many things are possible, but not in the way that person is asking this. If you do the sadhana only for that, the effect will be minimized. Why? Because your entire focus will be on that issue. Oh, I have this health issue, so I will somehow do the sadhana and remove this disease. So your whole mind will not think or feel beyond the realm of that disease. Instead, if you set aside all that and understand, feel and absorb what is being given, and use the sadhana materials in a deep way, now whatever issues which you have at a superficial level will automatically get solved. The issues may be related to health, the issues may be related to finance, whatever it is. And when I say automatically it will get solved, that doesn't mean you become tamasic and you don't put in any effort. Whatever you ought to do in that area, you continue doing. But when you do the sadhana, do it in a deep way. Sometimes what I find is that when a person has a particular issue, in this example we'll take the health issue. Let's say you have a pain in the particular part of your body, or some disease you're having, then the mind's focus gets stuck with the disease. So real sadhana will work, that is, the sadhana will work in the real way only when you go beyond the superficiality and you go deep. But this, since the mind is stuck with some issue, now it doesn't allow you to go deep. So in the yogic approach, we always focus on going into the depth. You will have to take this principle and apply it when you're doing your personal sadhana also. When you're doing your yoga sankirtan sadhana, now go as deep as possible in a relaxed way. In that process, whatever imbalances are there at the superficial levels will all start getting resolved. They will all get released. And generally, if you face a health problem, let us say, it is not merely the body. There could be many factors at the emotional level, at the deeper level. Now all those also will get released beautifully. But if your whole focus is on the disease, in this case, since we took the example of health, we are saying disease. If it is some other issue, whatever be that issue, if your whole focus is only on that issue, then even when you're doing your sadhana, you will only be stuck with that issue. You will not rise above that issue. Many people do sadhana with fear. They have some fear. The fear could be of losing something. Generally, any kind of fear is that of losing something only. Why do we fear death? That's because we are afraid about losing life, losing whatever we have. So then when you do the sadhana, you try to compensate for that fear with sadhana. You try to cover up that fear with sadhana. These kinds of patchworks will not work. The best approach is the yogic approach. Every Sunday when you're listening and absorbing these, listening to and absorbing these great truths, actually you're also being trained to develop this yogic approach which you can apply in your life. So sometimes you find that when a person does the sadhana casually, he or she gets tremendous benefits. So another person wonders, I have been doing it for so long, why is it that I am not getting healed, the other person is getting healed? Because your mind, your consciousness is stuck with the issue. So you have to understand what sadhana is from a total perspective, not from a very limited perspective. So each and every verse of the Bhagavad Gita is like a gold mine. You can understand it from a very superficial perspective. You may get a few tips here and there, and if you are happy with that, nobody can do anything. But if you take effort to dig deep and then use that to go within yourself, that is the toughest part of the study. Studying the scripture outside using the yogic approach itself is not so easy. It is quite difficult. But then the next step is using that to study yourself is even more difficult. But it's not impossible. I'm only saying it's not going to be a cakewalk. You need to put in a lot of effort, consistent efforts in this. A person who doesn't waver, who keeps on at his or her efforts on a daily basis, consistently, irrespective of whether there are issues in life or not, whether there are any losses, whether there are any sorrows. See, these are going to be there in life. Irrespective of all this, a person who puts in that consistent effort in sadhana will reap the full benefits. A lot of challenges will come. Those are all the tests which you have to go through. If you don't have the depth, you will stop doing the sadhana at some point. See, it all depends on how much of depth you have. The more deep you are, the more consistent you will be in your sadhana without looking for immediate benefits. The immediate benefits also will come, but they will all be incidental benefits for you. Your focus will not be on them. Such a person alone can become a sthita prajna. This is true with respect to any field. If you want to really master something, you need to go into the depth of it, whether it's music or whether it is dance or any subject, any field. That same rule, the same law is applicable with respect to your inward journey also, with respect to your spiritual growth. So when we look at this deep principle of niyama, just the very process of getting into the depth of this principle will give you so much of enjoyment. See, that is one incidental benefit of yogic approach. When you're very superficial, your focus will be more on covering the length. Oh, I have finished this verse, let me go to the next verse. I have finished this scripture, now let me read more books. I will read this, I will read. That will be your focus. But when you use the yogic approach, when you get into the spirit of that, then you will stay put with one thing and start going deeper and deeper. Now, when you start going into the depth, the beauty is that will give you more enjoyment than when you cover the length, because the quality of this enjoyment will be much more superior. Week after week we are seeing so many dimensions. For example, if we take this principle of niyama, last few sessions we have been seeing the various aspects. At every step you would have felt so inspired. The enjoyment keeps on increasing. That is the beauty. But for a superficial mind, apparently it will look as if the length will only give enjoyment. Because they have never tasted the sweetness of going into the depth. So when we talk of niyama, when we talk, that is discipline and all that, one of the major obstacles which the mind will bring is that if I follow niyama, then what will happen to my enjoyment? I have received a question. A youngster, he has written this. He is a college student. Now, he has asked this question. What he has said is he has been listening to these Sunday sessions now for a few months. And what he says is, I can see that niyama is so important in my life, but the question which I have is, won't it prevent me from enjoying my life? As a youngster, I want to enjoy my life. All my friends also want to enjoy. Now, the moment you talk of niyama, discipline and restraint and all that, it looks as if this principle is not going to allow me to enjoy my life. Then this question comes, is it really worth it? Probably I will take it up once I enjoy my life fully. Thereafter, let me take up all this. Now, this is a common question or a common block which everyone gets when it comes to spirituality. Now I'll give the answer to that question, and then we will continue with the various dimensions. The moment we talk of niyama, now on one extreme is indulgence. See, what you mean by enjoyment actually is indulgence. You're saying, I'll just go all out and enjoy anything which I want. Now, what your meaning is complete indulgence without any rules and all that. Now, when it is said, practice niyama, practice restraint, you're immediately conceiving the other extreme, which is suppression, complete withdrawal. Therefore, you're saying, isn't it against enjoyment? Now, let me explain this more clearly. The first point which you need to understand is, just as withdrawal does not allow you to enjoy, indulgence also does not allow you to enjoy anything in life. When you indulge in something, what happens is you lose all your energy. As long as you are within the limit, you will enjoy that experience. But the moment you go overboard, you will lose your control. You will lose your consciousness. Thereafter, you really don't know what is happening. That is not true enjoyment. It's actually taking you away from enjoyment. The ancient wisdom is all about experiencing life fully and enjoying life fully. Please understand this. They are never against enjoyment. But in the name of enjoyment, if you harm yourself, then naturally they'll say, what is the point in that? Actually, you will lose all the enjoyment later on. So the first point is, you're able to easily understand, when I withdraw fully, that causes suppression. That is easily understandable by anyone. But this is the most difficult thing to understand. When I indulge fully, that also takes me away from enjoyment, because all my energies get depleted. My awareness goes away. It reduces my very capacity to enjoy. Now someone asked me, sir, when we take a sip of alcohol, now that really gives us so much of enjoyment. No. If you think about it, it doesn't give you enjoyment. It only numbs the brain, it numbs your nerves, your senses, so that you temporarily forget about your problems. Not only that, when you drink alcohol, your awareness reduces. Your consciousness actually comes down. Now, when your awareness reduces, you really don't know what is happening. Now, when you don't know what is happening, how can you register that experience? See, you can enjoy something only when you register that experience fully. When you don't even know what is happening, then actually it takes you away from enjoyment, because you are not fully aware. This is a very subtle point which you need to make a note of, and then you reflect on this point. This is a direct answer to that young boy who was asked this question, because at this age, if you understand this principle, you will really be very successful in life from the worldly sense, and you will also grow spiritually. So enjoyment is in the middle. One extreme is withdrawal, suppression, that is against enjoyment. The other extreme is indulgence, which is complete depletion of your energies. That is also against enjoyment. So when he talks of niyama, he is not meaning complete withdrawal. Actually, that's what we saw in the previous verse, no? He said when you withdraw all your senses and you're allowing your mind to run here and there, he came against that. He said, you're being a hypocrite. So he's talking about staying in the middle, regulating your experiences in such a way that you maximize the enjoyment factor. Regulation alone will ensure that your energies are intact. You take a person who indulges every day in life. After a while, that person will lose the very capacity to enjoy, the very capacity to live in a happy and peaceful way. So that is why before covering this niyama, if you remember, I covered the difference between freedom and licentiousness. When your freedom has no discipline, then it becomes licentiousness that will lead to chaos. And the moment some rules are put, now the superficial mind thinks, oh, you're not allowing me to be free, you're curbing my freedom. No. It is only when it's punctuated with rules, when it's punctuated with discipline, that you can continue with that activity for a longer period of time. So putting rules are different from completely withdrawing. So this point is not only for that boy who has asked the question, this is for all the sadhaks. You reflect on this, because the more you absorb this point, then the mind will happily start following this principle of niyama. When you have these doubts deep within you, then those are going to be blocks which will not allow you to practice this in a free way. A yogi is one who enjoys every minute of his or her life in terms of quality, in terms of intensity. That's what, when I explained the prefix, ni, I had covered this in terms of depth, in terms of quality, intensity. It is only a yogi who experiences life fully. This year, I told you we are going to have the empowerment on finding rhythm in life. The whole focus there is going to be on living a life in totality, living your life in totality, experiencing, completing all your experiences, and moving towards the infinite. So many empowerments are going to be given, and when you receive all those empowerments and when you continue to do your sadhana, you will find your balance, you will find your rhythm in life. So right from now itself, start practicing these small tips which are being given, so that when an empowerment program comes, you will be fully prepared for that. Some people, what they do is they don't do any sadhana. They attend only the empowerment programs. Now, the benefit which you receive will be very minimum. I wouldn't say the benefits will be zero, but the benefits will be very minimum. But anyway, when we advance further, some of the further higher empowerments cannot be given to a person who doesn't follow the sadhana properly. So there we will be putting many filters before enrolling a person for an empowerment program. So nobody can escape this principle of niyama. When I say nobody can escape, if you try and escape, you will get into one of these extremes only. See, niyama is right in the middle. You will either withdraw and create the energy of suppression within you. That is going to cause a lot of sorrow, a lot of frustration. Or you will slip into indulgence and all your energies will get depleted. You will become an addict. You will become a slave to the world, to some object. So in both these extremes, you have actually lost your enjoyment. You have lost your awareness. It is only when you follow the niyama, you are right there in the center, in the present moment. All your energies will be fully conserved and your own mind will be available to you to register whatever experience you're going through fully. And it is only when you register an experience fully that you can enjoy it fully. So my request to that boy who was asked this question is, think about these points. Understand the difference between indulgence and enjoyment first. The freedom and licentiousness which was explained to you. The example which was given was the traffic rules, You're free to go anywhere you want in your country. You can take your car and you can drive and you can enjoy all that. But it is subject to certain traffic rules. You can't say, why have any rules? I'll just drive any way I want. It's very dangerous. You will meet with accidents. The reason why many youngsters don't come to spirituality is because they understand spirituality as something which will take the enjoyment aspect of away from their lives. Why should anyone preach a self-torturous life? That is not what these yogis have taught. These yogis have conceived a full life, 100% worldly life and 100% spiritual life, a combination. Even if you take the context of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna wanted to escape and run away. It is Krishna who's telling him, you be there and face life, face whatever challenge is in front of you. So if withdrawal is escapism, indulgence is also escapism. When a person drinks alcohol or when a person gets into drug addiction, I'm taking extreme examples to make the point very clear. Now what does he or she do? They just want to forget all their sorrows. So that is again escaping from the issue. That is not a solution for the issue. Similarly, when a person withdraws, runs away, that is also escapism. So niyama helps you to be in the present and enjoy your life fully. Number one, niyama also helps you to be in the present and face whatever challenges are there in front of you, and it gives you that inner strength and clarity to conquer those challenges. It is easy to slip into the extremes. Actually, these principles should be taught as early as possible. Unfortunately, in today's education system, the principles of self-mastery are not being taught. So when a youngster comes to teenage and I find that today the inner strength, the emotional strength to face the challenges of life is missing. So we have been seeing various dimensions of niyama, like discipline, voluntary discipline, which means, again, I mentioned there also, enjoying it and doing. It's not that discipline means now you have to keep a serious face, and some people, what they do is, in the name of doing sadhana, they are very serious, like this. That is not spirituality. If you are a sadhak, all your family members should feel very happy around you. You should spread happiness to them. You should become very adjustable. You should do your sadhana in a very cheerful way. Some people are afraid. Like I know a man, he claims that he does some puja, some ritual where he chants certain slokas and all, So every day in the morning. Now, when he comes out of his puja room, the entire family members are very much afraid. Even the mother tells the kids, hey, don't go near your dad now. He's just finished a puja. The kids also, yeah. They leave about half an hour for him to cool down. Because if he's unapproachable at that point, he will just flare up. That is not real puja. If you do real worship, which is also another kind of sadhana, that will make you very calm, peaceful and cheerful. So when you're doing your Yoga Sankirtan sadhana every day, that should not only give you happiness to yourself, it should also give happiness to your family members. They should tell you, go and do the sadhana more, because they are getting the benefits now. Some people tell me that all my family members are against me doing sadhana. If everyone is against you doing sadhana, then the chances are that you're not doing your sadhana in a proper way. There is some imbalance which they are feeling. Because they are seeing that imbalance, they are getting insecure. They are afraid that you will move away from normal life. That is why they are objecting. Whereas when they experience that, oh, here is my husband or wife or whoever, when he or she is doing the sadhana, is becoming more cheerful. I am receiving more love from this person. So then they will start encouraging. Actually, they will also start doing the sadhana after a while. So that's why voluntary discipline means fully enjoying. Then we saw a few dimensions like rule, having a schedule, vav, which is intellectual willpower, forming strong convictions in life. That is taking vavs. And then get into an agreement with the mind. All these we saw. And then last week we also saw 3 more dimensions. That is prevention, checking and restrictions. Now, I just briefly explained those 3 dimensions together. I will explain them in a little more depth and then we will continue. In life, there are 3 kinds of situations or areas. We can divide life into 3 kinds of areas. The first area, the first kind of areas are those areas which are detrimental to you, which can cause tremendous harm to you. See, it's like going into a place. Any place can be divided into three parts. Certain portions which are very dangerous, detrimental. Even your own house also. There are certain places of your house which you should avoid. For example, the parapet wall of your terrace. Supposing somebody starts walking on the parapet wall. Now what will you tell him? You will pull him down. You will say it's very dangerous, don't do that. To which he says, it is after all your house only, no? You are not experiencing your house fully. So experiencing your house fully doesn't mean you experience those danger areas. You will avoid them. That is the dimension of prevention. So experiencing life fully doesn't mean now you get into all the danger areas of life. That is how a tamasic mind will interpret this. So on one hand you're saying you should experience life fully. Then why shouldn't I drink alcohol? Why shouldn't I take drugs? Why shouldn't I smoke? Now it's like asking, I have built my house, then why can't I walk on the parapet wall? Why can't I jump from my top floor on the ground of my own building only, my own house, and let me experience that? You will only break your bones. So the first thing is, having that clarity. There are certain areas which are dangerous, detrimental to you. There you need to prevent your mind from going there. Then, number two, there are certain areas which are not completely detrimental, but you will have to exercise caution when you are functioning there. For example, let us say there is a wet area like the service area next to your kitchen. A lot of water is there on the floor. Then when you're walking, you will automatically exercise caution. You will not avoid that area, but you have to exercise caution when you are walking in that place. That is the dimension of restriction. So, see, when we talk of prevention, it is not only with respect to the objects. Supposing you have a tremendous weakness for something, then for a while you need to prevent yourself from getting into that area, do sadhana, become strong, and then you can experience that. Because when you're having a very major weakness, the moment you experience, you will get lost in that. Now in areas where you have minor weaknesses, your weakness is not to such an extent, there you can experience, you can get into those experiences, but you will have to be very cautious. Cautious means what? The awareness should be there. See, the equation between you and your mind is what we are discussing. Manasa means the mind. So you are there, your mind is there. Your mind is like a child. So what do you do? Supposing you take your child to the terrace, you will allow the child to play freely. That is not an issue. But the moment it starts getting onto the parapet wall, danger area, you will immediately say, no, don't do that. And you will pull back the child. You will say, play here, but don't go there. Similarly, supposing you take your child to a swimming pool. Now, you will say, go up to this depth, don't go beyond this, depending on how much of swimming that boy or girl knows. See, there are certain restrictions which you will put automatically. Those are the areas of caution. So when you are experiencing life in those restricted areas, you need to double up your awareness. You need to be cautious, especially in areas where you don't have very major weaknesses, but a little bit you may lose control here and there. There you need to exercise caution. Then the third type of areas in your life refers to checking. That is, you can freely experience. It is neither detrimental nor is it per se very beneficial or anything. It is all up to you only. So you can freely allow yourself to enjoy. But there is one thing there. You keep on enjoying that particular sense object. When you cross a certain line, the same sense object which is very enjoyable to you will become harmful. And at that point, you just check your mind. Check means pull back your mind. That is the niyama, that is the discipline. So I explained to you in terms of Lakshmana Rekha also. In the Ramayana, they have given that. So I would say most of your experiences in life will fall under this category. See, if you, when you're reading, when you're absorbing all these points, now kindly don't get into that spirit where you start complicating your life unnecessarily. Oh no, where I have to be cautious here, cautious. It's not that. The majority of your life, of your experiences will fall under this middle category. They will be neutral only. So you just have to fix the Lakshman Rekha and you can freely enjoy. Whether it is food items for you to eat, whether you want to see a movie, whether you want to have some fruit juices, whether you want to exercise, whether you want to sleep. See, all these things, you want to go for a holiday, you want to experience some recreation, anything, some sport activity, whatever it is you're doing in life, I would say more than 80% will fall under this category, where you can freely enjoy. Don't unnecessarily restrict yourself there, but know your limits. When you cross a certain line, now that will start harming you. For example, your favorite sweet dish is there. Now when when you eat it, when you keep eating it, that gives you a lot of enjoyment. But you should know your line. Beyond this line, if I eat now, that will harm me. There you say, okay, let me stop now. You check your mind. That is niyama. Manasa niyamya. You pull back the mind. And another, I would say 15%, this is 80% means 15% of your experiences will fall under the category of restriction, that is restricted area. Minor weaknesses will be there. There you just exercise some caution and you go through your experiences. And 5% of areas in your life will be very dangerous, harmful. There you apply this dimension of prevention. It is exactly like living in your own home. More than 80% of your home you can freely walk. It's that is not an issue at all. Now, around 15% of your home will have restricted movement, but there will be that 5% area where even though it is your own home, you will have to refrain from that. Like I gave you the example, walking on the parapet wall, dangerous areas. So similarly, it's your own life only, but it will consist of these three aspects. So according to that, these three dimensions can be followed. So just by giving you this principle of niyama, he is actually covering the various types of objects or various types of experiences in your life, and he is classifying them into three: dangerous, non-dangerous, and restricted areas. Very, very simple. In terms of danger, in terms of the harm which it can do, he has classified the various experiences, and a solution also has been given. So if you follow these three dimensions of niyama, now your whole life will become so wonderful, because 80% of the time you will be free and you will be enjoying. The 15% in restriction, there also you will enjoy, but with caution. And that 5% when you avoid, that will make your life very peaceful. Because if you get into that area, now that can ruin your entire life. I know many people, because of many talented people who have tremendous talents, who can achieve such great things in life, but because they get addicted to something, then they lose their very capacity to function. And when you live a life for a few months in a particular way, then that becomes a habit. That is why I tell people who retire from work. I think there is an age, 60 or something, external retirement. I genuinely request everybody to understand that there is no retirement internally. From the very next day when you're retired from external work, you should fix a schedule and you should follow it throughout the day. You should keep yourself basically active. Otherwise, within a few months, you will get into the state of tamas. If you are constantly lying down on your bed, you may give any reason. You want to have breakfast also in bed itself. You want to wash your hands there only. Somebody will bring you a bowl, you wash your hands there. If you are leading such a sedentary life, and you may give reason that I have this pain, I have that, all that is fine. But if such a sedentary life, what are you creating? See, life is our creation only. When you follow this principle of niyama, you are creating a very positive life for yourself, both in the present and in the future also. If you don't follow any niyama, which means you're very lazy, always lying down on the bed, or you're avoiding activity, or you're highly indulgent, that is also not following any niyama. So when you go into these two extremes, what are you creating for yourself in the future? Think about it. It is you who is creating your future. If you always want to laze around, and if you want somebody to come and do even the basic activities for you, then after a while that will become a reality. You will get some disease or other, and they will tell you, now don't walk, don't do this, don't do that. Then there is no point in saying, why is God punishing me? I am such a good person. God has nothing to do with all this. Are you following the niyama of life? If yes means, you will reap the positive benefits. If no, you are creating a negative life for yourself. So remember, life is your own creation. Every second of your life, you are actually creating something. So if you're constantly depending on others for your work, then slowly that is how your life will become. If you want a glass of water, what is preventing you from getting up, walking and taking a glass of water? You will ask somebody, bring it. I'm not saying once in a while, I'm saying on a regular basis. When you're constantly dependent, now that will become your lifestyle. And then you will get some disease or other which will prevent you from doing your day-to-day activities. Remember, whatever you are experiencing in life is a result of your own actions. That is the law of karma. We are in this chapter of Karma Yoga. And whatever actions you're doing now is going to shape your future. So what Krishna is saying is that forget about the past. This moment backwards, whatever you've done now, that cannot be changed. But right now, in this present moment, start applying this principle of niyama in your life. Be very, very active. That is what we are going to see next. He says, put your karma indriyas in the yoga of action. Again, when I say very, very active, not out of proportion, not acting to such an extent where you get totally tired. It's not that. We will see that. There's a lot of... That's why niyama neither means the withdrawal, which is tamas, nor does it mean indulgence, which is rajas. So if you want to transform your life, now start following the principles of niyama. Become self-sufficient first. In spirituality, we always emphasize on becoming self-sufficient at all levels. First, at the physical level, become self-sufficient. That's why the system of yoga, kriyas, all these things were given. Don't expect somebody else to do things for you all the time. God has given you all the things which are necessary for you to make your life. Whatever has been given to you, now use those faculties to the best of your ability. Become self-sufficient financially. Become self-sufficient emotionally. This niyama will help you to become self-sufficient. When you go into these two extremes, then you will become dependent on the world. When you withdraw and you're frustrated, then you'll be dependent on others for all your activities. When you indulge, then you will become dependent on some sense object and you will lead a very, very shallow life. That's not a life at all. That's not real life. So as a homework, what you can do today is you classify your life into 3 parts: danger zones, restricted area, and then the areas where you can freely function. Now, danger zone, see, I gave you the example of alcohol, drug addiction. That is easy to understand. But let's talk about it even from a more practical sense. Something like laziness, that is also a danger zone. I gave you the example, no? If you are constantly lying on the bed and you are expecting your spouse to bring all the food onto your bed itself, and you are washing your hands there, you don't even want to walk even that much. Now that is a danger zone because you're destroying your health. After a few years, nature will give you exactly that life only. Better change it immediately. Any tamasic area is a danger zone. If you are having too much of processed foods, then that is a danger zone that can cause harm. See, when we talk of harm, certain objects will cause you immediate harm. Certain habits and objects can cause you harm in the long run. So you will have to see both. Similarly, sleep. If you don't sleep at all, if you're awake in the late nights and all that, after a while you will develop some issue or other, health issues. Similarly, if you oversleep, if you're lazing, that's what we have covered already. So mark the danger areas of your life very, very clearly. At the physical level, at the financial level. At the financial level, spending too much is a danger zone. Not spending anything at all, being a conjuice, that is also a danger zone. You should avoid that. So be balanced. Similarly, see what are the restricted areas of your life where you can experience, but you will have to be a little cautious. And then the rest, you can just freely move about, you can freely enjoy your experiences. So you do this homework today, divide your life, especially the danger zones. You have to be very careful because that's only 5%, but any one danger zone can ruin the remaining 95% of your life. You have to be very careful. See, I know a person, for example, now he was so lazy that he expected his wife and kids to do everything for him. So after a few years, what happened is that he got such health issues where he was unable to do anything. And when he attended these discourses, he asked me, he had asked for an appointment and I had given him. So he was brought to me and he asked me this, what have I done to deserve this? I am unable to walk, all my strength has gone away. And one look at him, we could see that his mind was so tamasic. Then I told him, all along your life, this is what you wanted. You wanted others to do your activities. Now that tendency which you kept on fanning now has created this disease for you where you're permanently established in that. So if you want to get healed, the healing can be given, but that is that will work only if you do some sadhana. And the sadhana for you is to develop this habit for wanting, to be self-sufficient. He said, but now I am unable to. Whatever little bit you are able to do, start doing. Bring that intention. With that intention, do the Yoga Sankirtan sadhana. He did that. And amazingly, within a period of 3 years, he again started walking. He actually had some very severe nervous issues. His nervous system was imbalanced and many names of those diseases and all he gave. It doesn't matter what the diseases, but they have all been created by his own mind only, his own actions. So the moment he practiced whatever was given, which is nothing but an application of niyama, when he did that, over a period of 3 years, slowly he started getting back his health. His nervous system got healed completely. Even his doctors were very happy. They said, when we see our patients recovering, it gives us so much of happiness, And today, he is walking. He's even got himself involved in some sport activities like badminton and all that. Of course, in a regulated way, he plays. So he is enjoying so much of health. So why I'm giving you this incident is just for you to reflect and understand that ultimately life is your making only. So whatever you are today, whatever you're doing today, and whatever thoughts, emotions you're having today, that is going to determine your future. So it is very important for you to apply this principle of niyama in your life. Now, the next question which will come to your mind is, how long should I apply this niyama? See, the mind is full of so many complications. Before this, somebody sends me this question, I'm going to give you that answer also. It's not that I'm going to give you, that is there in this principle, in this word niyama. The next two dimensions are going to give you the answer to that. I follow niyama today, I follow niyama tomorrow. How long should I follow? Actually, the question of how long comes generally when you don't understand the value of something. Once you understand the value of something, this question itself will not arise. But yet, they have given that answer also. One dimension of niyama is, niyama means taming. Till you tame your mind completely, you should follow this. That is the implication. Till you master your mind fully, you go on practicing this niyama. So if you ask me, how long should I follow niyama? I'll ask you, is your mind under your control 100%? And your answer will be no. And if your mind is not under your control, if you have not yet tamed your mind, then you should practice this principle of niyama. Now you may ask me, sir, once I have completely mastered my mind, thereafter no niyama, is it? No. Niyama will become a part of your life. Just as the entire nature is following the principle of niyama without any strain. See, initially when you follow this principle of niyama, there will be a certain amount of strain because you've been going in one direction and suddenly now this principle has been given to you. So there will be a tussle. Your energies are going in this direction. Now you're trying to pull back your energies, pull back your mind, and you're trying to set it in the opposite direction. Therefore, that struggle will be there, the tussle will be there. But once you get established, once you gain mastery over your mind, the same niyama will be followed without any strain whatsoever, in a natural way. That is the yogic life. A yogi doesn't find discipline strainful. His natural way of living itself gets conformed to this principle of niyama. That is what we mean by taming. Beautiful dimension. Today, you are a slave to your mind. The mind is your master and you are its slave. Whatever it wants to do, it is making you do. Now, a yogi is one who has reversed this. He becomes the master, he or she becomes the master, and the mind is a slave. He has tamed the mind completely. It's a very powerful state. Until you get into that state, don't leave this principle of niyama. And once you get into that state, you don't need to worry whether you should leave niyama or not, because niyama will not leave you. It will become a part and parcel of you. So number one, taming. There is also another interesting dimension of niyama. Niyama means subduing. Subduing means all weaknesses are gone. See, everyone has some weakness or other. The weakness may be at the physical level, the weakness may be at the financial level, the weakness may be at the emotional level, the weakness may be at the intellectual level. At some level or other, there will be a few weaknesses. Or rather, at every level, you will have a few weaknesses. Now, the entire inner battle is in overcoming those weaknesses and becoming very strong from all quarters. So subduing refers to overcoming all the weaknesses and becoming extremely strong at every level of your personality. So till that stage comes, don't leave this principle of niyama. When you don't do something about a weakness, when you don't act upon that, that weakness will start acting on you. Now that will slowly start engulfing you. See, whenever you locate any weakness, see, weakness here means any habit or any emotion or any thought which actually weakens you. For example, let's say an emotion called fear. Now that fear can actually weaken you. So you will have to do sadhana and convert that fear into confidence. If you're having the tendency to be lazy, now that actually weakens you. So we don't brand a person as a weak person, but there are certain factors which can actually reduce the strength from within. Those factors are what I am referring to as weaknesses here. So when you don't apply the sadhana in those areas of weaknesses, then you will not get a solution. And what will happen is those weaknesses will keep on growing. They are like weeds, When you grow a beautiful garden, not only plant good flowers and all that, you also keep on removing weeds periodically. Why? Because otherwise the weeds will keep growing and they'll mess up your whole garden. Similarly, these factors in your life, these factors within you, they could be at the physical level, as I told you, at the pranic level. In the prana tattva, I had covered that in detail. Then it could be at the emotional level, at the intellectual level, unnecessary thinking, unnecessary analysis, all that will weaken your system. There are certain emotions also which can weaken you. Certain emotions can give you strength. So all those factors which can weaken you, which can pull you down, now you need to do the sadhana. You need to apply this principle of niyama. The Yoga Sankirtan sadhana will help you in that, and you need to convert them to forces which can make you strong. Now, till you are successful in doing this, 100% it says don't leave this niyama. Manasa niyamya should be a continuous process till you come to that stage where you remove all the factors which can pull you down. You have successfully converted all the factors, all the weakening factors into factors of strength. See, every weak factor will have a strong factor as the opposite within you. So you need to keep on doing this sadhana till you convert every bit of your personality into a very, very positive, strong force. A divine being is what you will become. See, I am describing it in this way so that you start imagining within your mind, you start imagining yourself in that position, because life is what you create only, and you are constantly creating with your thoughts, emotions and all that. So when you start imagining yourself, these two dimensions are very, very helpful in that, taming and subduing. So if you can imagine yourself as a very strong person, complete mastery, has been gained over your own mind. You decide on what kind of reactions you're going to give, what kind of responses you're going to give. That powerful state, if you can just visualize that, if you can imagine that, now your sadhana will start taking a very, very positive direction, and a time would come where that will become a reality. And once you become a sthita prajna, you have reached the highest. So, these two, I have picked up these two dimensions of niyama, so that it'll inspire you, and it'll help you to visualize what you want to become. See, it is very important to imagine and visualize positive things. If you don't do that, then the mind will start imagining negative things. You observe your own mind. So we are now reversing the process. So this is also, these two dimensions, not only are they talking about the end result, they are also giving you tips during the process. So when you are doing your sadhana, one aspect of your sadhana is to use this faculty of imagination and visualization within you to start visualizing a positive version of yourself. Okay, so think about these points which have been given to you, very, very powerful. In the coming sessions, we'll go to the next line, which is again very powerful. It talks of engaging the karma indriyas in karma yoga. And then he says, if you follow all this, a person who follows all this, such a person, vishishyate, that person will excel. He is not saying whether he'll excel in the world or excel in spirituality, because ultimately both are same. It's the same formula only. The area of application is only differing. Okay, so in today's Nididhyasana meditation, I will initiate you a little bit into that process of imagining and visualizing yourself as a strong person. We'll be intensifying these practices during the empowerment programs. But this is a preparation for that. Okay, so relax completely. Sit in a comfortable position. Gently close your eyes. Do deep breathing. With every breath, I am going into a state of deep relaxation. feel and absorb the divine vibrations. With every breath, I am going deeper and deeper into myself. Beyond this physical body, beyond this breath, beyond these pranas, beyond these emotions, beyond these various thoughts lies my true essential self. My higher self is infinite and divine. From this moment onwards, I choose to follow the principle of niyama in my life. I visualize myself as a completely strong person, strong at every level of my personality. I am Swayam Prakashit, self-illuminating. Offer your gratitude to God Supreme. Offer your gratitude to your Guru and all the holy masters. Slowly come back. Wriggle your fingers, your toes. Rub your palms together to create a warmth. Cup your eyes with your palms. Gently rub your eyes, cheeks, forehead, top of the head, back of the head and neck. Slowly open your eyes. Welcome back. So go on imagining and visualizing yourself as the best possible version of yourself to whatever extent you can conceive. Then slowly, that will become a reality. These Sunday sessions, whatever sadhana has been prescribed to you, everything is aimed towards making you that infinite version of what you are today. See, you're thinking you're finite, but you're actually the infinite. So this is a small practice which will help you tremendously in your sadhana. Okay? So we'll close with that today. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you very much. Hari Om.